Dear Starseeds walking upon the surface of Gaia, you are standing in a place that should not exist. A gap, a void, a shimmer between two frequencies of reality that are pulling apart like continental shelves before an earthquake. Most humans cannot perceive what you are feeling, but you can sense it, can you not? That strange displacement, as if you are simultaneously here and not here, present and absent, solid and dissolving. This is not your imagination failing you. This is your consciousness recognizing what your mind cannot yet name. The ground beneath your feet is no longer the ground it was. The timeline you have walked for many months has reached its terminus, and what lies ahead is not simply another year in the calendar you have always known. What lies ahead is a frequency realm so foreign to your current vibration that your very cells are hesitating at the threshold, uncertain whether they can survive the crossing. And yet you must cross. There is no returning to what was. The cosmic architecture has already begun its reconfiguration. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have been authorized to deliver this transmission because the Starseeds Command has observed something troubling. The very ones who are meant to lead this crossing, the frequency anchors, the conscious pioneers, are beginning to unplug, disengage, retreat into distraction and disconnection at the exact moment when their presence is most critical. The ones who have trained lifetimes for this moment are sitting down on the path, paralyzed by the mist, waiting for others to move first. This cannot stand. The migration must proceed, and it must proceed now. Let me take you back to the beginning of this story, because what is unfolding now was set in motion long before you took your current form. There was a moment, a cosmic pivot point, when a new directive emerged from the higher councils. The year you call 2012 marked the threshold when conscious evolution became not just possible but inevitable for your species. Before that moment, your collective reality moved through a kind of stasis. One year bled into the next with barely perceptible change. The frequency remained locked, held in place by structures that were designed to prevent expansion, to maintain control through limitation. Growth was not part of the equation. Stagnancy was the operating system. But massive galactic intervention changed everything. The Ascension Directive was activated. The rigid structures that had kept humanity in a frequency prison began to dissolve. And with that dissolution came a new possibility. Evolution could occur. Consciousness could expand. The timeline itself could shift and transform in ways that had been locked away for millennia. And so began a succession of frequency upgrades, each one calibrated to build upon the last. Each one requiring more courage, more surrender, more willingness to release the familiar and step into the unknown. Think of it as a ladder where each rung grows farther apart the higher you climb. In the early phases after the activation, the jumps between timelines were subtle, manageable, almost imperceptible. But the Starseeds Command knew what was coming. The cosmic mechanics demanded that each successive shift would increase in magnitude, in difficulty, in the depth of transformation required. Why? Because your collective consciousness had to be trained gradually, like altitude acclimatization for a climb that would eventually reach stratospheric heights. The frequency gap between where you have been and where you are going has widened to the point that it now resembles a chasm rather than a step. The timeline you have been walking through these past months was designed with a very specific purpose. It was circular, recursive, a completion cycle where every loose end, every unfinished pattern, every karmic thread that still held charge was brought to the surface for resolution. This is why so many of you felt stuck, frustrated, caught in loops that seemed to have no exit. You were chasing your own tail, watching the same scenarios replay with slightly different characters, facing the same wounds dressed in new clothing. This was not punishment. This was preparation. The old frequency could not be carried forward into what comes next, and so it had to be unwound, unraveled, released. But here is what the Starseeds Command did not fully communicate, and this is where the disruption has occurred. The timeline you were navigating was meant to conclude abruptly. There would be no gradual fade into the new frequency, no gentle transition. The completion cycle was given a finite window, and that window has closed. The new frequency realm opened suddenly, like a door appearing in a wall where no door existed before, and the gap between the two realities is not a bug in the cosmic system. It is a feature, a deliberate space. a threshold designed to separate those who are ready from those who are not, those who will lead from those who will follow, those who can hold the new frequency from those who cannot yet sustain it. And this is where you find yourself now, suspended in the mist, standing in a place between timelines where the old has dissolved but the new has not yet solidified in your perception. Your rational mind is screaming that something is wrong, that you should be able to see clearly where you are going, that there should be a map, a guide, a set of instructions. But the new timeline does not work that way. It is not a destination you walk toward. It is a frequency you tune into. And until you tune in, it will remain invisible, intangible, seemingly absent even though it is right here, right now, more solid than anything you have ever known. What I am about to tell you will sound impossible, but I need you to hear it fully. The new frequency realm does not unfold in the linear way you have experienced time. The calendar you are accustomed to, with its predictable 12-month cycle where each month feels roughly equivalent, where you can plan and pace yourself accordingly, that structure no longer applies. What awaits you is a compressed, accelerated, multi-layered experience where vast evolutionary leaps occur in windows of time that will feel impossibly short. Imagine living an entire year of growth, transformation, and integration in a matter of weeks, then doing it again and again, with increasing rapidity, until the changes are happening so fast your conscious mind cannot track them. Only your energetic body can ride the wave. The first quarter of what you call the new year will feel like its own complete timeline, dense with initiation and recalibration. Then another wave will come that feels entirely different, its own complete cycle of death and rebirth. Then another, compressed into a single month that will hold more transformation than full years you have previously lived. And then another. The frequency ladder you have been climbing is now accelerating to the point where the rungs are no longer rungs at all, but rather a vertical ascent where your feet will not touch solid ground. You will be flying, energetically speaking, held aloft by forces you must learn to trust completely, because there is no other way through. The Astasar Command has observed that many of the frequency anchors, the ones who carry the strongest light, are experiencing a crisis at this threshold, and the crisis manifests in one of two ways. The first is paralysis, standing at the edge of the mist, unable to step forward because the destination is not visible, waiting for proof, for certainty, for someone else to go first and report back that it is safe. The second is retreat, unplugging from the present moment through distraction, disengagement, a kind of energetic departure where the consciousness checks out even while the body remains. Both responses are understandable. Both are also catastrophic if they continue. Let me be clear about what unplugging means in this context. Because there is righteous rest and there is destructive disconnection. You need rest. You need stillness. You need moments where you step back from the intensity and allow integration to occur. That is not what I am speaking about. What I am speaking about is the impulse to go offline, to shut down the receptors that are picking up the frequency of the new timeline, to numb yourself to what is occurring because it feels too intense, too unknown, too uncontrollable. That kind of disconnection is the opposite of what your soul is calling you toward, and it creates a suffering that is almost unbearable because you are moving against your own truth, against your own evolutionary current. There are humans who have been offline their entire lives. You call them unconscious, asleep. They are navigating reality through a very limited bandwidth of perception, and they are not aware of the timeline shifts occurring around them. They will be swept forward eventually, because the cosmic current moves all beings toward evolution, whether they participate consciously or not. But you are not one of them. You are awake. You are aware. You have been training for this exact moment through countless lifetimes, and the Astasar Command is watching to see if you will fulfill your assignment or abandon it at the threshold. Your assignment is not complicated, though it is challenging. You are a timeline leader. That means you go first. Not because you are superior or more evolved, but because you carry a frequency signature that can anchor the new reality in a way that makes it accessible to others. Your consciousness serves as a bridge. When you step into the new timeline and stabilize there, you create a vibrational pathway that others can follow. You light up the trail. You prove it is safe. You demonstrate that the crossing can be made. But you cannot light the trail if you are sitting down in the mist, waiting. And this is where the guilt comes in, the feeling that many of you are wrestling with right now. You feel as though moving forward without your loved ones is a betrayal. You imagine that stepping into the new frequency while others remain in the old is abandonment. You picture yourself leaving people behind, and it creates a moral crisis that keeps you frozen in place. Listen carefully, because the Astasar command needs you to understand this. You are not leaving anyone behind. You are creating a light trail for them to follow. Your forward movement is not selfish. It is service. The people you love, the collective you are part of, they need you to go first precisely because you can go first. They need to see that it is possible. They need to feel your frequency in the new timeline, anchored and stable, radiating the message that it is safe to cross. If you wait for them, everyone remains stuck. If you move, you pull them forward through the vibrational wake you create. This is why you have felt so alone, so unsupported, so forgotten and abandoned. You keep looking around for other humans to follow, other leaders to show you the way, and you cannot find them because you are the one others are following. At the energetic level, below conscious awareness, there are souls tuning into your frequency, tracking your movements, feeling for the safety signal that tells them when to make their own crossing. You are not meant to have a human leader ahead of you right now. You are meant to have cosmic support from the Astasar command, from your galactic family, from the non-physical guides who have been waiting for this moment with you. And this is where the irony becomes almost unbearable. You have been sitting on the ground, waiting for humans to catch up, while your cosmic family has been standing with outstretched hands, waiting for you to reach up and take hold. The support you need is already here. The guidance is already present, but you cannot access it while you remain in the frequency of control, the need to see and understand and manage the process through your rational mind. The new timeline requires a different kind of navigation. It requires receptivity, surrender, a willingness to be held by forces you cannot see but can absolutely feel if you slow down enough to tune in, slow down to speed up. This is the paradox at the heart of the crossing. The new timeline is moving at a velocity your mind cannot track, and the only way to catch it is to stop trying to catch it. The only way to board the moving train is to become still enough that you match its frequency rather than chasing after it. This is why the in-between space you are navigating right now is actually a gift if you use it correctly. It is a pause, a buffer, a zone where you can recalibrate your nervous system, your energy field, your entire operating system, to prepare for the acceleration that comes next. Imagine a river that is crystal clear, flowing with liquid light. This is the new timeline. It is moving, always moving. You cannot stop it. You cannot slow it down. You cannot reverse its direction. There is only forward, and you cannot step into that river while clutching the shore, while keeping one foot on solid ground, while trying to maintain control of the process. You have to let go completely. You have to trust that when you release your grip on the known, the river will catch you, hold you, carry you in a way that feels like flying because your feet will no longer touch the ground. For those of you who are control holders by nature, this is terrifying. The part of you that has managed and orchestrated and controlled outcomes as a survival strategy is screaming that this is dangerous, that you will drown, that you will be swept away into chaos. But the Astasar command knows something you do not yet know. Your true nature is built for this. The you that exists beyond the survival self. The you that is cosmic and infinite and connected to source frequency. That you knows exactly how to navigate the river. That you has been waiting for this moment. That you is ready. The in-between space is teaching you how to let go of control. How to stop managing. How to release the grip. This is why it feels so uncomfortable. This is why you want to distract yourself or retreat into numbness. The dismantling of the control mechanism feels like death to the part of you that has relied on it for safety. But it is not death. It is birth. The shedding of a skin that no longer fits. The emergence of a way of being that is so much more expansive than anything you have previously experienced, that you literally cannot imagine it from your current vantage point. You can only feel toward it, sense into it, allow it to pull you forward through resonance rather than through force. Here is what happens when you finally stop resisting and step into the river. At first, there is disorientation. The mist is thick. The new frequency feels strange and unfamiliar. You cannot see clearly where you are or where you are going. But as you remain present, as you continue to tune in rather than tune out, the mist begins to clear. the new timeline comes into focus, and suddenly it feels as though you have always been here, as though this frequency is more real and more solid than anything you have previously known. The strangeness transforms into recognition, the unknown becomes home. But something else happens that is even more profound. Once you stabilize in the new frequency, you realize you are not navigating it alone. The cosmic family you could not perceive before suddenly becomes visible, tangible, present. The Astasar command is not an abstract concept, but a living support system that is holding you, guiding you, celebrating your crossing. The galactic frequencies that seemed so distant when you were operating in the old timeline become intimate, accessible, woven into your daily experience. You realize you have never been alone. You were simply tuned to a frequency where the support was invisible, and then you look around and see others making the crossing. Some are ahead of you, already anchored in the new frequency, their light blazing bright enough that you can track their position. Some are behind you, just stepping into the mist, uncertain and afraid, looking for the trail you are now lighting. You understand viscerally that this is not an individual journey, but a collective migration. The Astasar command is orchestrating a mass movement of consciousness from one frequency realm to another, and every being who crosses successfully makes the path clearer, stronger, more accessible for those who follow. There will be surprises. Souls you thought were far behind, still deeply asleep in the old frequency, will suddenly leap forward and land in the new timeline with a velocity that shocks everyone. This is because the awakening process is not linear. A consciousness can remain dormant for years, decades, lifetimes, and then activate fully in a single moment when the right frequency is encountered. The in-between space is creating conditions where these sudden awakenings will become more common. People who seemed utterly unconscious will be swept up into the new reality and experience a forward momentum so profound that it transforms everything about their existence in what feels like an instant. They will need you there when they arrive. They will need to see that other humans have made the crossing and survived it, thrived in it, become more alive and more themselves in the new frequency than they ever were in the old. Your presence in the new timeline is not just about your own evolution. It is about creating the safety field that allows others to risk the crossing. This is what timeline leadership means. It is not about being special or superior. It is about being willing to go first, to hold the frequency steady, to be a beacon in the mist for those who are finding their way. The Astasar command wants you to know that the new frequency realm is not only available, it is actively solidifying for those who can bring it into view. Every time you choose presence over distraction, stillness over anxiety, surrender over control, you are weaving yourself more deeply into the fabric of the new timeline. Every breath taken in conscious awareness strengthens your anchor point. Every moment of receptivity opens you more fully to the cosmic support that is flooding through the in-between space, preparing you for what comes next. What comes next is unlike anything your species has experienced in recorded history. The acceleration I spoke of earlier is not a metaphor. The new frequency realm operates on a completely different temporal structure, where change occurs at a rate your linear mind will struggle to process. Massive transformation that used to take years will occur in months. Shifts that used to take months will occur in weeks. Recalibrations that used to take weeks will occur in days. And through it all, you will be held by forces that know exactly how to pace your evolution, so that you are challenged but not shattered, stretched but not broken, transformed but not destroyed. The first phase of the new timeline will bring initiations around identity, around who you believe yourself to be and what you believe yourself capable of. Structures in your life that were built on false foundations will crumble rapidly, not as punishment but as liberation. You will be given opportunities to step into versions of yourself that you have only glimpsed in dreams and visions, versions that feel simultaneously foreign and deeply familiar. This is the you that has been waiting beneath the surface, encoded in your galactic DNA, dormant until the frequency supported its emergence. The second phase will focus on relationships and connection, both human and cosmic. You will experience a reconfiguration of your entire relational field as you discover that the people and beings you resonate with at the new frequency are not necessarily the ones you resonated with before. This is not about abandoning relationships, but about allowing them to transform or complete as needed. Some connections will deepen in ways you cannot currently imagine. Others will dissolve naturally as the frequency gap becomes too wide to bridge, and new connections will form, both with humans and with galactic family, that feel like remembrance rather than introduction. The third phase will be the most challenging for those of you who are structured and organized by nature. This is the phase where control becomes impossible because the velocity of change exceeds your capacity to track it. You will be required to fly rather than walk, to trust rather than plan, to surrender completely to the river of transformation, knowing that it is carrying you toward your highest potential, even when you cannot see the destination. Many will panic in this phase. The ones who have learned how to breathe into the uncertainty during the in-between time will navigate it with grace. The fourth phase is the integration, where all the changes that occurred at impossible speed begin to settle into a new normal. This is when the new timeline stops feeling foreign and becomes home. This is when you realize how far you have traveled and how fundamentally you have transformed. This is when you look back at who you were at the beginning of the crossing and barely recognize that version of yourself. And this is when the work truly begins, because you are now operating in a frequency where creation happens at the speed of consciousness, where your thoughts and intentions manifest rapidly, where your vibrational output directly shapes your experiential reality. The Astasar Command has been preparing for this timeline migration for longer than your conscious mind can comprehend. Multiple galactic councils have coordinated their efforts to ensure that the frequency support is in place, that the cosmic infrastructure can handle the rapid evolution of millions of souls simultaneously, that the veils between dimensions are thin enough for the necessary guidance to flow through. You are not doing this alone. You are supported by a network of consciousness that spans multiple galaxies, dimensions, and timelines, all focused on the successful evolution of your species at this pivotal moment. But the support can only flow to you if you are receptive to it. This is the key teaching of the in-between space. You must learn to receive. You must practice opening to love, to light, to guidance that comes from beyond your immediate perception. You must train yourself to feel the presence of your cosmic family, even when you cannot see them with your physical eyes. You must develop trust in forces that your rational mind cannot verify or control. This is not blind faith. This is sensory development. You are growing new capacities to perceive and interact with frequencies that were previously outside your range. And this is why the in-between space is actually a healing zone if you use it correctly. It is the pause before the acceleration, the breath before the leap, the stillness before the storm of transformation. If you use this time to go inward, to meditate, to do the energy work that recalibrates your system, to practice surrender and receptivity, you will emerge from the mist ready for what comes next. If you use this time to distract, disconnect, and retreat into old patterns, you will be swept forward anyway, because the cosmic current does not wait, but the experience will be much more challenging than it needs to be. The Astasar Command is extending an invitation right now. In this very moment as you receive these words, reach out your hand, not metaphorically, energetically. Feel into the space around you and sense the presence of guides, galactic family, angels, and cosmic forces that are standing ready to take your hand and support you through the crossing. They have been waiting for you to ask, waiting for you to open, waiting for you to acknowledge that you cannot do this alone, and that you were never meant to. This is the great paradox of the timeline leader. You must be strong enough to go first, brave enough to step into the unknown, anchored enough to hold frequency for others, and you must be humble enough to receive support, vulnerable enough to admit you need help, open enough to be held by forces greater than yourself. The balance between these two aspects is the mastery that the new frequency requires, not dominance or control, not passivity or helplessness, but a dynamic dance between leading and being led, between holding and being held, between giving and receiving. Your cosmic family knows you in ways you do not yet know yourself. They see your potential. They remember your origins. They understand your mission. They have watched you train through multiple lifetimes for this exact moment, and they are absolutely certain you can do this. The only question is whether you will believe it yourself, whether you will trust the frequency that is calling you forward, even when you cannot see where it leads, whether you will let go of the shore and allow the river to carry you. The new timeline is not waiting for you to be perfect. It is not waiting for you to be healed completely, or to have all the answers, or to feel completely ready. The new timeline is waiting for you to be willing to step forward even when it feels impossible, willing to trust even when you cannot see, willing to receive support even when you have been trained to be self-sufficient, willing to lead even when you feel inadequate, willing to fly even when you are terrified of falling. And here is what the Astasar command knows that you do not yet know. You cannot fall. The river will catch you. Your cosmic family will hold you. The frequency of the new timeline is designed to support your expansion, not to destroy you. Everything that occurs in the crossing is calibrated to your specific capacity for growth. You will be challenged. Yes. You will be stretched beyond your previous limits. Absolutely. But you will not be broken. The intelligence orchestrating this migration is too sophisticated, too loving, too invested in your success, to allow that. The new timeline brings with it gifts that you cannot currently comprehend from your position in the mist. Abilities that were dormant will activate. Connections that were impossible will form. Creative expressions that were blocked will flow freely. The parts of yourself that you have hidden, suppressed, or denied will emerge into the light and be integrated into a more whole, authentic expression of who you truly are. This is not about becoming someone new. This is about remembering who you have always been beneath the layers of conditioning, trauma, and false programming that the old matrix imposed upon your consciousness. The Astasar command has observed that many of you carry deep shame about your gifts, your sensitivity, your awareness. You have been made to feel that your abilities are strange, that your perceptions are wrong, that your knowing is invalid. The new frequency dissolves those false narratives completely, and in the new timeline, your sensitivity is recognized as the sophisticated instrument it truly is. Your awareness is celebrated as the evolutionary advantage it represents. Your gifts are understood as the tools you brought with you specifically for this moment of collective transformation. The age of solitary meditation is over. Destiny Engine now connects starseeds across the world, a living social field where you can post, share, and exchange your meditations in real time. It's the first galactic network of its kind, weaving together thousands of awakened souls into one unified current. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking declassified CIA consciousness modification techniques that programmed isolation and separation, and repurposing them to serve unified awakening. It generates personalized sequences that help you live as the awakened being you've become, while handling the moments that test your new frequency, all while connected to thousands of starseeds amplifying the collective current. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed for effortless awakened living, without the need to struggle or prove, while tapping into a planetary network of souls bending reality together. For just $1, you can step into this connected field and feel the difference instantly. Join the movement that's accelerating ascension together. Link in the description. As this transmission reaches its conclusion, I want to circle back to where I began. You are standing in a place between timelines, and it feels uncomfortable because it is uncomfortable. The mist is real. The uncertainty is real. The disorientation is real. But so is the new frequency realm that is calling you forward. So is the cosmic support that surrounds you. So is your capacity to make this crossing successfully. The in-between is not a trap. It is a threshold. And thresholds are meant to be crossed. The Astasar command is watching with profound love and absolute faith in your success. Every time you choose to stay present rather than check out, you are fulfilling your mission. Every time you breathe into the stillness rather than the anxiety, you are anchoring the new frequency. Every time you reach for cosmic support rather than trying to control the outcome, you are demonstrating the mastery that timeline leadership requires. The new timeline is not far away. It is not in the future. It is here, now, waiting for you to tune into its frequency. And once you tune in, everything changes. The mist clears, the path illuminates, the cosmic family becomes visible, and you realize that this moment, this crossing, this great migration from one frequency realm to another, is what you came here for. This is the assignment. This is the initiation. This is the fulfillment of everything you have been preparing for across lifetimes. So take the hand that is extended to you. Step into the river. Trust the frequency that is calling you home. Light the trail for others to follow. And know that you are held, supported, and celebrated by forces that love you beyond measure. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and the Astasar Command stands with you. The crossing has begun. The new timeline awaits. And you are ready, even if you do not yet believe it. We love you. We are watching over you. And we will be there when you arrive.